our yield checks, every ear is worth 7 bushels. Flats and nose into the hole. And that's a common problem with the flat seed and vacuum disc. Here's a medium flat, a very common seed type with a mix of skips and doubles. From in the cab and looking at the monitor, because the seed didn't even get a chance to load onto the disc. Some seeds, especially seeds of seed treatment, can settle and lock together in the bottom of the meter. As the eSet vacuum disc, every seed, every time. I challenge our engineering team to give you a disc that eliminated the guesswork that you have in your meters today. You don't have to guess which seed size. You don't have to guess which vac setting. You don't have to guess which singulator or double eliminator setting. So you get picket fence stands without guesswork. Here's how. eSet does not have a pocket, so it's not seed sensitive. Watch how the smallest round and the largest flat sit squarely and securely over the hole. The disc is not sensitive to vac pressure. You don't have to worry that too much pressure will cause doubles or too little vac will force skips. In fact, all seeds under 60 pounds per bag use a single vac setting of 15 inches. Now watch how this singulator works to dislodge any multiple seeds. The spring-loaded singulator bumps and jogs seeds from the top and bottom to nudge the second seed just enough to set it free. It's like a game of King of the Hill. One seed ascends to the top and is locked securely over the hole. And because the singulator is spring-loaded, it automatically adjusts to varying seed sizes. So there's no need for manual adjustments or guessing about the right setting. Remember the problems that can occur when the seed's being released into the seed tube? That's the handoff of the baton. We have raised the plane on eSet so that the seed release is over the center of the seed chute and the seed tube. You can see the seeds dropping right down the center line. Compare that to the inconsistent release we saw earlier on a standard disc. And because there's no pocket, gravity takes over immediately. There is no horizontal seed movement before the seeds start their descent. It creates a much more crisp and consistent handoff. To optimize seed release and seed spacing, we develop eFlow, a special lubricant that helps seeds slide off the disc more consistently. Just a quarter cup of eFlow can smooth the seed release. It also helps the seeds flow more smoothly into the meter. One other obvious improvement is this series of fins. As this disc turns in the meter, these fins continuously stir the pool of seeds. Even rough textured or sticky seeds keep moving, getting in line and ready to jump onto the disc. The differences inside the disc make a visual difference in your stand, and we have to be very aggressive to make sure that these seed fragments do not get stuck in the eSet holes. This seed extractor has a double layer of protection against these fragments. This scraper runs on top of the disc and plucks fragments from the hole. If the scraper misses a fragment, this tungsten hammerhead knocks the fragment right through that hole. Watch as the extractor plucks and thumps seed fragments free. There it goes. Those fragments can be stubborn, but the thumper head gets it. Here's another great addition we made to eSet this season. This vent allows your meter to breathe in even the trashiest conditions throughout the planting season. We've extended the vent out over the meter so the trash can't collect under the hopper, choking off the air supply. And when you shut down the vac, the vents automatically shed the residue. You have to love a lot of the features that are built into this planter, but at the same time you know that there's some challenges to get seed from up there down to here. These mini hoppers load seed at the front of the meter right here. The standard meters load seed at the rear of the meter. Rear loading improves seed flow in the meter and helps the disc load evenly, keeping the seed pool an ideal level. Anyone that has operated one of these planters on hillsides knows the challenges with keeping the meters loaded consistently. To fix this problem, we developed a new hopper design to allow a Pro Series meter to behave as well as a standard style meter. This is our ProFlow hopper. You can see that we have eliminated all the 90-degree elbows that have slowed or stopped seed flowing from the central hopper. And by coming in over the bearing, we can now bring seed into the meter exactly the same way the standard meter does, at the rear of the meter. Seed flow is improved in all conditions, but if you farm hills and terraces, you need these meters. Watch this demonstration. eSet on the left, cell disk on the right. This simulator is set at a 15-degree angle, and our simulator is duplicating the exact row unit bounce from the Nebraska field. Here, with the same slope, same seed, and the same field conditions, the eSet ran 99.6%, with just one skip and one double. The standard disc ran at 94.4%, with 21 skips and 7 doubles. At that angle, seeds just can't hang on. Now, change direction, and the eSet still ran 99.6 with just 2 skips and 0 doubles. The standard disc ran at 94.6%, but this time the results flipped. 0 skips and 27 doubles. With the disc leaning to the right, these seeds just can't get off. And that's the advantage of better seed loading, no cells, and a consistent vac pressure in the eSet system. Here is a demonstration that shows you the difference. These strips were planted with. It's easy to add the eSet disc to your current vacuum meter housing. Just remove your current brush and baffle and replace them with the baffle and brush set that comes with your eSet disc. The new baffle simply twists into place and is secured with a screw. Then just mount the singulator to the top of the housing. Snap your eSet disc in position and you're ready to go. For Pro Series meter owners, installation of the new ProFlow hopper is easy too. Just remove the screws that secure the hopper to the meter housing. Remove the hopper and replace with the new ProFlow hopper. With the new ProFlow hopper. To switch to soybeans or other specialty crops, just remove the disc. Relocate one brush and lock the singulator and the seed deflector out of the way and snap your bean or specialty disc back into place. It takes less than a minute to change from corn to soybeans. With the eSet disc, you still get all the advantages of your vac system and the picket fence spacing that'll put more money in your pocket. But just don't stop at the meter. Some of the spacing errors that we see in the field come out of the seed tube itself. You've probably heard of seed tube bounce or seed tube ricochet. Here's what it looks like. When the seed hits the sidewall, it slows down. Every point of contact means the seed spends more time in the seed tube. If one seed makes a lot of contact and the next seed makes a little contact, the two seeds will meet at the bottom of the tube and you'll see a skip, then double pattern in the field. Look at these two photos. We've used a strobe light to capture a single seed as it moves down the seed tube. The seed on the left is bouncing down the tube. The strobe light fires every 1/100th of a second. So count the times the seed was illuminated and you'll see the seed was in the tube for 11/100ths of a second. The seed on the right didn't contact the sidewall, was only hit with the strobe 7 times. Remember, as the planter moves forward in the field, every 1/100th of a second in the tube means the seed is an inch off target. In this case, the seed is 4 inches off target, a virtual double. This is our bullseye seed tube. We've redesigned the seed tube to reduce seed tube bounce. This cutaway shows what we've done. The upper wall of the tube has been offset from the lower part of the tube. This eliminates any risk of the sensor sticking in too far where it can interfere with the seed's descent. And the tube is molded with a low friction, low static nylon material. Others are made from a lower cost poly. And here is an exclusive feature that will save you money. We've embedded tungsten carbide in the tip of the tube. I simply got tired of throwing the tube away every year because the tip was wore out. I'm sure this looks familiar to you. Sure, it's expensive to toss a tube every year, but if you don't catch this wear problem, seeds can hit this lip and scatter along the seed trench, creating a very expensive error. Here are 2 used seed tubes. On the right is a bullseye with 94 acres on it, the equivalent of 1,500 acres on a 16-row planter. On the left is the standard seed tube with just 16 acres, or 250 total acres on a 16-row planter. The standard tube is shot and needs to be replaced. The bullseye, with 6 times more acres, shows no significant wear in the tip. The tungsten carbide tips have taken all the abuse from the double disc openers, protecting the nylon and your stand. The bullseye is a simple replacement for your standard seed tube. Just reattach your sensors with zip tie and slide the new tube into position. Now that you've upgraded your meters and replaced your seed tubes to eliminate spacing errors, get those evenly spaced seeds at a uniform depth. Corn producers for the last 10 years have been doing that with the Keaton seed firmer. Year after year, side-by-side test results show an average yield boost of 6 bushels. The reason is simple. By firming the seed to the bottom of the seed trench, every seed germinates at the same rate